Oh, hey, work it. For B-side fight.
B-side fight.
B-side fight.
What been take this house?
Sci-fi. Welcome to the Developmental Focus Point. I'm your host, former Alabama running back, face of the USFL, Bo Scarbrough. With me are my two hosts, Alabama legends, Blake Sam, Trent Richardson, and we are brought to you by Workspace Solution and Oakmont Financial Partner. What's up, guys? How y'all guys doing today, man?
What you do, Foley?
What's going on, man? We good. They say the orange is the new black. Blake, what you got going, man?
Come on, man. You know they say it's orange.
Blake, what you doing? 30 days in?
Hey, okay.
Can you handle the 30 days in?
I don't think I could, fool. I need to be out. I need to be out in 2 hours.
Man, listen.
I need to be out in 2 hours.
I was watching 30 days in. I told myself, ain't no way I'm volunteering going into no type of environment like that. Cause look, you was not about to get me in and then I'm giving you the little chest pad to come get me, and you won't come get me, man. I'm finna
Oh man. Yeah, man, y'all better hit that like and subscribe button for sure. But to let my boys know, this ain't orange, man. This is like salmon.
Yeah.
So do y'all call it salmon or salmon? Which one y'all call
it? We call it salmon. What you call it?
It's salmon. It's salmon.
Salmon.
It just that East Atlanta in you.
Come on, that West Atlanta, my boy.
Okay, West Atlanta.
Yeah.
My bad.
God damn. Must be two sides. Hey, I used to have the Blake. I used to have the Blake with school, boy. He was so hot, boy. That youngster usually want to try to slap box and everything. Man, go on sit down somewhere, man. What you doing?
Hey, you gotta tell the story about when Blake was like, it's a Blake 16.
Yeah.
So what happened was we were with the Lions, and of course, me and Blake was the faces of the Birmingham team for the Alabama squad. And so what happened was, Blake was getting a massage, and when he was getting his massage, and I was like, man, Blake, man, if I type in who the face of Alabama is right now, what they gonna say? He gonna say shit. They gonna say 6. I said 6. Who is 6? What you mean, Blake 6 Sims? And so what I did was I typed in Google Blake 6 Sims, whatever. But he thought I put in the face of Alabama. So, as I did, I scrolled up a little bit so he couldn't see the Google bar, what I had researched.
Right.
He down there getting his massage. I was like, Blake, you right, bro. They do say that. He getting his massage constant. You surprised? What you thought they were going to say? They ain't saying Julio. They ain't saying Tua, because Tua's the quarterback at the time. You're like, they ain't saying Trent Richardson. They ain't saying Mark. They're saying 6. Blake 6 Sims.
Yes, sir.
And so until this day, Blake ain't never heard that story behind everything. And so all the strict conditioning coach, all the massage people that were getting massage and everything, everybody was laughing at Blake because Blake really thought Blake 6 Sims was the face of the state of Alabama.
Y'all were really laughing with me. Y'all weren't laughing with me. Y'all laughing at me, cuz.
Oh, man.
Okay, 3. Yeah.
Boy, my headphones came out.
So, man, I want to ask y'all, boys, with this transfer portal, it's up to 3K now. And I wanna know you guys' thoughts on the portal being at 3K opposed to when we was coming out. Like, what input do you have on it by it being 3,000 players trying to transfer? I'll let you go first, Trent.
It's crazy, bro, because it's free agency now for college, bro. And when you look at it, it's really hurting high school ball too, because at the end of the day, it's a lot of kids in there that's getting recruited that's not gonna get recruited, and it's not gonna be able to get on teams because of the transfer portal. But it's if you're not in a situation like Jalen Hurts was in, where his time was due at Alabama, and Tua came in and took over, and he had another chance to go be a starting quarterback like at Oklahoma. Like I don't get the transfer portal. I can see situations like that. I get that, but when it comes to, oh man, I don't like you. Oh, we just got into an argument. I don't agree with what you just said. I'm getting this transfer portal. I mean, you got guys that's been starters at places. You know what I'm saying? Like the situation with Bama right now. And I'm not trying to call nobody out, but it's like, man, when I started on offensive line, been starting for 2 years. Right after the doggone banquet, he in the transporter. I don't get that part. I don't know what the kid got going on, but it's different. Because there's always two sides to it. Mm-hmm. So when you hop in this transfer portal, now these kids are risking a scholarship because what if you don't get picked up in this transfer portal?
Right.
So now legally you don't have a scholarship.
Exactly.
And then with hopping in there too, it's almost free agency, man. It's a bargain too, like because you can hop in there and be like, hey, I'm gonna go to Alabama 1 year, and hey, I'm gonna go win that championship. So now I can go to a place like Texas A&M where they got oil money. And I'm not saying this is the mindset, but I mean, you go down there. Well, I got my pedigree, so I've been coached by Coach Saban. I got a national championship. So who's gonna give me the most money now while I'm in college?
Right.
They can look at it like that too. So I mean, bro, it's just right now with everything going on with Coach Prime, too. Guys are hopping in this transfer portal. Everybody ain't gonna be able to go there.
Right. What's your intake on it, Blake?
I mean, playing at Bama, bro, is all about character, right? That's one of the main things we spoke about at Bama, and like I say, man, like it's on the players, bro, because like we talked, like me and Trent talked about it one time, bro. Like, what is the older guys in the locker room saying to the younger guys?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What type of relationship do you have? You know what I'm saying, with these guys that's willing to leave? Like, I don't know if I would have came to you, Bo, or came to Trent talking about I'm about to leave, bro, y'all would have been like, fool, get out of my face with that.
Right.
Hey,
you already know.
Listen, when Blake get there, I'm gonna tell you about his little transfer portal situation that he.
Yeah, hey, Trent, I already got that as one of the topics that we got to talk about anyway.
yeah, I see. But I just like. I don't really like it, man. If it's to better you and your family, then yeah, you know what I'm saying. But if it's because you trying to treat, because like I'm kind of looking at it like with these younger kids, they're treating real life like they treat Instagram. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm following people, but my thing is like the only question that I be having big in my mind is like for Coach Saban, right? He's all about his kids. So what if a kid goes in the transfer portal and don't get picked up like Trent said, and he comes back to Coach Saban and say, Coach, will you let me back in? So what? So now, like, if Coach don't let him in, is it like, dang, Coach, you don't care about your players? Or is it like Coach Saban let him back in, and it's like Coach Saban, and then like players like us, we thinking like, nah, Coach Saban gonna tell that boy to kick rocks. And we look on and see that Coach Saban let him back. Is we like Coach Saban let him be soft, or is Coach Saban over there like we need him? He can help us.
Well, okay, so Trent and Blake, I'm pretty sure y'all two can agree with me on this. If that is the case, end up happening where a kid come back to Alabama and trying to get back into Alabama, Coach Saban gonna have a little bit of say so, but it's gonna be those 12 guys that's on the leadership team that gonna make that decision whether we let this guy back on the team or not. And it's all about the type of leadership guys that's on the team. Because I know, and Trent, I know you was on the leadership team, and I know you was on the leadership team as well, Blake, and so as me. Far as how I ran the leadership team, if you got in the transfer portal and you trying to come back, and Coach Saban come back to us asking, do we let this guy back in? You know our answer is no, because the first thing that we gonna thinking is you turned your back on us. And if you turned your back on us, then you may turn your back on us when we really need you. So I don't think that if they tried to come back to Bama, it depends on how tough the leadership team is to let them back in.
Well, bro, it's crazy because like everybody, got stuff to say about Nick because they see him in the media and him go off on media guys, and he don't smile as much with them. I mean, but bro, one thing I learned about Nick, being a guy that played early, being a guy who had kids in high school, being a guy who became a leader on the team by my sophomore year. Um, he look at certain guys and he hold them to a different standard, but he care about all his players. And I really found that out when we had a player pass. I think it might have been my sophomore or junior year, my last year of school. A player went back home. He had just transferred from Tennessee, but he went back home and he had overdose.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he took that information and the way he came to the team about it, man, I've never seen Nick dang near in tears. I never seen like his face, his, all that light up like it did. Like it was different, and he had a different approach about his players when that happened. But to see all that, man, it's almost like you look at Nick's staff. Like Nick is not only raising players, being a mentor to the players, and being a father figure to the players, but he's doing it with his coaching staff too. You name one program has been through as many coaches as Nick, has gave coaches second and third opportunities as Nick. It's dang near, the situation was like, Coach, you're too kind hearted.
Right. And then just like
Bro, we had two guys that Coach Saban let go, and he brought them back. He brought them back to JUCO,
right.
and they went to the
Sam
NFL.
Sincere is one of them. And it's like coaches that get fired from other schools, they come to Coach Saban program basically like rehabilitation to reestablish themselves, like they then better themselves at coaches by being under Nick Saban. And then guess what? A year he gone. Now we have to replace a year. He gone. We have to replace the longest OC I think we had. It was Jim McElwain and Lane Kiffin.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is one and done, maybe even two and done. But Burton Byrne been there since Glenn Coffey and Bobby Williams been there since what I'm saying, the beginning. And those are guys that I think we should have kept around. But I know Coach Saban is a businessman and he make things business decisions. So with that being said, I wanted to ask you guys about what do you think about this playoff? 1 through 4. Do you think that we deserve that 4th spot, or do you think that the committee got it right? Do you think that USC, TCU should have stayed in that spot, or do you think Ohio State should have been out?
My question is, do you want to get paid? Do you want to get paid? If you want to get paid, put Bama in.
There you go.
If you want to get paid, put Bama in, man.
Exactly, because we gonna be the one that gonna bring the fans. We
come
gonna
on, baby.
spend the money. We gonna travel. If we playing in San Jose, we gonna take up half of the stadium way like that in California. No matter how much the tickets is, no matter
how much. And get what though? But get what though? We gonna bring the viewers. You don't come to the game, you watching that game, fam.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so what do you think? Do you think that we should have got that 4th spot, or do you think Ohio State should have been left out, or do you think TCU should have been left out?
I think they should have picked out of TCU and who the other team that lost?
Ohio State.
No, before Ohio State.
USC.
I feel like should have came between them two teams. I feel like both of them should have left. You feel what I'm saying? Because the excitement of the game ain't gonna be the same without Bama in them, man. Cause like everybody want to be the best, right? But you got to beat the best to get there.
Exactly.
Cause right now Georgia and Alabama the best. The only reason I'm saying Georgia, not because I'm from Georgia, because
they have our philosophy. They have our philosophy.
Yeah, and they won it last year, so they gotta be there. So why not have the two remaining players, the two remaining teams in it, and then Michigan and the other zone.
And then what do that say to the one loss team compared to us having 2 losses?
Man, we've been doing this for 15 years. We've been doing this for 15 years. So the 2 losses, I feel bad for you. Try again next year.
But we the one with the 2 losses though. So I'm saying if we're a 2-loss team and we get that 4th spot, and you got Ohio State and you got TCU with a 1 loss, how do you handle that?
No, the only reason I'm saying that is because both games we lost under 5 points.
And we lost in a hostile environment, and we lost in overtime, and we lost on second place as well.
We ain't never got dominated.
Right.
We never got dominated this year. That's what I'm going on. That's the cherry on top. You see what I'm saying? We ain't never dominated.
Yeah, and what people got to realize too, right? And because I always say it's 2 sides to it. Do I think we deserve to be in there with our play this year? I don't personally. But when you're talking about team lining up man to man, a mano, are we going to be the underdog in that game like Nick said? No, we're not. We're going to always be the top dog. Because any day, any Saturday, you line us up against Georgia 9 times out of 10, or you line up against Ohio State 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go with Bama. I don't care who it is. And I'm not sitting there saying that because I went there. I'm talking about because of the work that they put in. And maybe it ain't been the same over these last, couple of years. But at the end of the day, if you line Bama up to TCU, or Ohio State, or Michigan, who you think gonna win that game? Who gonna be the underdog? Right. Period. No, and think about the games, like you said, Blake. The games, and we did lose. It's been about 1 point and 3 points. We lost for 4 points in 2 games to top-ranked 2 teams that was in the top 5.
No, 2 teams that's in the top 6.
They was 1 and 2.
Top 6.
What 1 and 2 right now?
They were 1 and 2 at the time. They was 1 and 2. When we lost to them, they was 1. When we lost to Tennessee, Tennessee was rated number 2 at the time. Georgia was number 1. And when Tennessee beat us, Tennessee jumped up to number 1.
So what about LSU when they before we played them?
Before we played LSU, I think they were like 7 or something like that.
Oh man!
And then you look at it though, like them teams are not blowing us out. And those teams, like anything that happened, busted coverage or offsides penalties, like we played the sloppiest games ever. And we still come back in the game, force one to go overtime. Then we lose on the field goal, whatever. Dude make it a play, whatever. Cool. But ain't none of them teams you can sit there and say, man, they just whooped our tail. But they just whooped our ass. Like, nah, it ain't that. It's up there like, bro, Bama, you lost the game. We lost the game. We shot ourselves in the foot. And in the game, we done lost at Bama. Since Nick done been there, it's been like that. Period.
Okay. So we got a comment that has said that the games that we have won, we didn't really play anyone. So I'm saying, right, but doesn't Mississippi State, Texas A&M, LSU play the same team? Because aren't we in the same division, the West, right?
Yeah.
So how did we not play anyone when these same teams played the same team that we played? They played the same team.
And then put on and add something else to it, like how we in the West, in the SEC, the West is harder than the East. So every team that's in the, I feel like every team that's in the except probably Ohio State, every team that's in the playoff, they on the easiest side of their conference.
And so what I want folks to realize too, bro, like, hey, I think all these teams deserve to be in the playoffs. Yeah. And it's going to happen because once they spend the 6 and 12 teams, whatever they're gonna spend this playoff to, Bama ain't gonna miss a year. As long as Nick there, Bama ain't gonna miss a year, and it's almost unfair for real for everybody, because you gotta think about it. The reason they started this playoff system because what we did when we played against LSU in the national championship for the game of the millennium and all this other stuff. That's why they started the playoff system,
right?
To try to give guys an extra chance, because you got 1 and 2 in the SEC every year. You gotta think about it. It's hard as hell to get the SEC. It's hard to get out the SEC.
All right. Thank you, Jamie, for the $4.99. For need more guys like us at Bama now. We appreciate the donation.
Man, look, Bama, but look, when it comes to guys like us, man, Mike McCoy made a statement last night on my other show. He said, man, we are the last of a dying breed. When you hear stuff like that, we are the last of a dying breed. Now, not name one time this year. I mean, I've heard this plenty of times, and Nick said this, like, man, hey, they don't make them like me no more. They don't make them like they used to no more. Like when your coach saying that, like, okay, like let's listen, because everybody need to listen to what Nick's saying as far as the team. Because when he talks to the media, he's talking to the team. He give a lot of message to the team through his conversation when he's talking to media. And so if I was a player, I would take that and put that on my chin and on my shoulders. And I gotta have a chip. Okay, I hear what you're saying, Coach. And I know kids, they don't see the message. I mean, Nick is a wizard. Now he gives you symbolic messages through his interviews, through the way he recruit, through the way he coached. A lot of people don't get that. I don't remember Nick used to always sit there and tell us, listen to what I'm saying, not how I'm saying it.
Right.
And it took me a while to realize, like, Coach, you're right. You saying everything I need to do and telling me and giving me the answers to this test. Like, how am I messing this up? And that's the same thing I used to tell Blake. Blake, just shut up and listen. And if Blake would have listened, Blake could have been a star quarterback at Bama for 4 years straight. Wrong or right, Blake?
That's right.
But Blake had to, learn how to, okay, you're right, Coach. This is what you meant. All right. Because I remember one time Coach had told me, like, man, Mark had just came back. I was balling, this and that. Coach had told me, like, man, you playing like a second string running back. And I had just scored 3 touchdowns. I'm like, man, I went to Brian, like, Coach, what are you talking about? Like, Trent, you got 9 touchdowns in 3 games. He's just trying to push you because he don't want you to play like a second string quarterback running back now that Mark is back.
That's a fact.
Like, come on, like it's simple stuff, bro. Like we got to pay attention to detail. It is a process, but when it comes to playoffs, bro, like, do I think Bama should be in there? I definitely think they should be in there, because you can't have a team in that playoffs that got beat by 21, 24 points, right, or 17 points, and they go out there and get a second chance, and the team that beat you by all these points are at number 2 right now, that's undefeated. And you're going to have to probably end up running up against them again, and you might get smacked again. That's just like the year that Bama wasn't in the playoffs. Man, it looked so crazy. And then you had all these teams getting blowed out. Exactly. Ain't nobody blowing Bama out, not in no playoffs and no championship. I don't care what you say.
Right. So we have a question from my audience. It say, you think the love of the game going away, the passion for the game since the NIL?
No, I don't think the love of the game has left. I just think it needs to be more great-minded man around the young man to lead them the right way. You know what I'm saying? And just sit there and touch, just guide them, man, and just show them that, like, hey, I'm not for nothing. I'm just, I'm here to help you and just guide you, man. And like, I don't hear a lot of people talk about God no more, bro.
Right.
Like, I don't hear that. It's like to the small details of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't hear like trainers, bro. Like, trainers don't even sit there and pray after they get done working out with kids. Like, it's about us. You know what I'm saying?
True.
It's about us and how we like talking to them young kids. And I don't feel like we have enough of that going around. And maybe we could blame ourselves, bro. You know what I'm saying? Not like saying us on right now. I'm just speaking of a man in general.
Okay, so since you brought that up, I want to get into the developmental part of this. You said that these kids are now probably doesn't even have a leader. So if you know what you know now, back then, what would you tell the younger kids that is going through the process that we went through as an eighth grader, transferring into a high school, and high school going into college? Like, did you have a leader that someone led you, or did you look up to someone, or someone guided you to be this type of leader, or did you became a leader when you got to Alabama and you followed and you learned and then you became a leader at that point?
Right. I didn't become a leader until I got to Alabama, and I will tell you that in a second. Growing up, man, I knew how to use these. I know how to use my ears. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that my mother and my father forced on me heavy. Like once you think you're too old to listen, that's when things gonna start falling. You know what I'm saying? So I always listen. I had a great leader in my household from my mother and my father. But getting to Alabama, that's what turned me into a leader, because you have to learn how to follow before you lead, right?
Right.
I had Trent, I had Julio, I had Mark, Eddie. The list could go on. You know what I'm saying? The list can go on to where that's when I got there and I realized that I had a group of guys that was getting on me, not to put me down, but they saw the vision. You know what I'm saying? They saw the vision, and like they already know what they've been accepting, and they know that their time is gonna end at Bama, and they just like, hey, little bro, I want you to take the throne once I leave. I don't want nobody else sitting in this. So having like guys like that around me, man, and my stepfather and Michael Vick, bro. Like Michael Vick is the biggest name that I can mention right now. Just him
So
playing at Atlanta, me getting the opportunity to go to his camp, win his competition, sit in the tent with him and his family, and that's where my motivation came from. Just seeing, because my family wasn't very fortunate with money, so just seeing him put in that work and knowing where he came from, and seeing how like happy his mother was to see that she never had to work another day in her life, and that her and her family was financially good, but most of all, her kids had her son reached his dream. So like that's one thing I wanted my mother and my father to feel. So that was like my motivation too.
right. So what would you tell the younger kids today? What would you tell the younger kids today about finding a leader of, or even looking up to someone and paying attention to them to the point to that you did, and how it made you became a leader?
Uh,
What would be a focus point that you can tell them?
um, the focus point would be know who you are and believe in yourself. That would be the first thing, because you can't hang around people that if you don't believe in yourself, they're not gonna believe in you. You know what I'm saying? And just being around the people that I know that had the same goals as me. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, some people have the same goal, but they just don't have the right mentality to get to where they're trying to get to. So you gotta be very self-disciplined and be willing to sacrifice. Cause I mean losing friends is hard, bro. But the man that you become at the end of that tunnel, once that pain and that trial that you went through is gone, you become a stronger man.
What about you, Trent? Growing up, middle school, high school, did you have a leader or a mentor or someone that you looked it up to, that made you the type of leader that you were at Alabama, or did you learn how to be a leader by following Dante Hightower and Rondo McClain, and following behind behind Mark Ingram and Glenn Coffey and all those guys?
Yeah, man. Just growing up, I always kind of been that guy. And when I mean that guy, I was good in sports, but you know, I always had my brothers to look up to, and then they taught me. You know, my brother, my older brother, bro, he was what 6'3", 6'4" as a freshman, coming in power cleaning, 265 and some Timberland boots. You know, and so he was the head of our household. You know, I ain't never really had no father, so like to live up to what them guys did. My other brother was 6'6", you know, Terrell 6'6". Got recruited from everybody, you know, going to play defense in Lafayette, but looking at him and, you know, looking at what he was doing, you know, in sports and, you know, not only sports, he had the brains too. And so, and my brothers would always tell me, like, my older brother, you know, he had all the talent, but he didn't have the brains. But my middle brother had, you know, all the brains, but he wasn't talented as me and my older brother. So they put all that, and that's how they kind of made me, and, you know, it made me a believer in who I am, and, you know, it made me a leader. I mean, I remember my brother used to call me when he went off to college every morning to make sure I got up for school. You know, just stuff like that. And I jumped off the porch early, bro. I had my first child when I was 15.
Right.
And on top of that, I couldn't walk for 2 years. I had
Right.
screws in both my ankles. And so, you know, by 17, I have already had my second child. And so at this time, bro, like the person that really like helped me out a lot in pushed me to the next level. I bumped head with him for my first 2 years in high school, and that was Coach Boyd, my high school coach. It was my receiver coach, and he was my head track coach. And so the only sport I did all 4 years was track. And so I remember like yesterday, bro, I was, you know, district champ and, you know, won the regions and all this other stuff in track in 100. I mean, that man had me run a 10.31 as a junior, as a sophomore in high school at 2:30.
Yeah,
Like,
I was a little bit faster than you. I was a 10-2.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, you were moving.
I was just messing, hey, I was just messing with you. Hey, I was right there behind. You know, I was a 10-8.
I ran 10.6 my freshman year in high school.
Oh, y'all
So,
right there behind you too, Trent. I'm 10-7.
yeah, but listen, I was doing it as a freshman.
Blake,
So.
your bed is so full of sardine, man. I don't think you were moving that fast.
Whoa, Bo, let me tell you something about that belly. I didn't get that belly till I got to Bama because I got the act card.
Hey, when you can eat steak and chicken
Oh,
every day.
and then get $300 on the act card for Domino's at any time.
Right.
So listen, it's funny we talk about track, right? So me and Blake training together with Mike. So Blake decided he think he want to race me in the 200. And so I done boosted his head. I'm like, all right, come on, we're gonna get out there. We're gonna really race. He going back and forth. So Blake shoot out. I'm just letting him go. You know me, I'm always playing 9 game. Blake shoot out. He hit it. He out there in front. Next thing you know, he grabbed that hamstring. Oh. Blake the pulled his hamstring.
Man, I was ready for it. You know, it's little bro, very big bro. You know how.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm going back to the hood. All the boys about this.
So I done finished the race. Blake on the ground said, Blake, you good, Thompson? You see who was out there first before I pulled my hamstring.
But we have a question from the audience, and it say, how do you guys feel about the statement made by Will Anderson about the team feeling anxious?
Feeling anxious about the playoffs?
What? I mean, what you feeling anxious about the bowl game? Or
I meant I'm thinking they probably just tried to say anxiety, but
anxiety. I think Will was really probably talking about himself for real. I mean, because you can't account to everybody. Because I know, I mean, some people look at the game and say, "Hey, bro, like, you know, I do have a passion, and I do want to play, and I do believe we just not getting the success that what we supposed to be really putting in because we really shooting ourselves in the foot." I think, you know, when it comes to anxiety in football, I mean, we all get in our head, you know. When it kind of having that mindset, you got to have a different mindset because you got to be able to turn it on and turn it off. Because I say anxiety for me, what my anxiety was in my head, I had, you know, I always picture somebody taking food off my child plate or somebody trying to, you know, take my kids away from me because I didn't make this first down. I didn't run this touchdown. or I didn't get the 4th and inches. Like that was my going in my head when I was on the field. So I was wired a little different. And
Right.
so I don't know if bro, trying to speak for everybody, if he's just speaking about himself, to have anxiety, I don't know. That's different talk when it comes to football language, bro. And I understand mental health is serious, but when you in that game, it ain't no anxiety. It's either me or you, and we're gonna get this done. And I definitely think I think Will and Bryce have had way bigger roles than anybody on that team in the last few years. Yes, I definitely think that. And I think that when you gotta be in the media all the time and step up for everybody, speak up for everybody, I definitely think it's a different task.
What do you think, Blake? What do you think about Will Anderson comment?
I mean, I feel like Trent, man. I feel like Trent all the way around. I mean, I think Trent said word for word how I feel.
Yeah, and I'm gonna piggyback off that, and like Trent, like Trent said, we all played the same position, and we all were coached by the same person, Burton Burns, and you guys know, like when once we came out, it wasn't even once we came out the tunnel. It was on Friday night. We was ready. We didn't even think about having anxiety because of the type of coach that we had. You know what I'm saying? Even his wife was toughening us up. His wife will come and headbutt you, and you like, whoa, hold on. You know what I'm saying? You scared that you gonna hurt her, but she all in your grill. So you like the coach like that, the wife like that, the little grandson, he running into hitting his head up on the fire pole, getting right back up, and you like, this is a tough family. So us in the running back room, we ain't have anxiety because of who we were being coached by.
No, for
So
sure.
by me saying that, do you think that these guys having anxiety because of the coach that they being coached by, or is it something that is just personally?
Man, I think it trickles down from the top, man. Because when you can't coach guys like a tough coach, and how you want to, because anytime you say something to these guys, they want to transfer or they get in their feelings, and you can't say nothing to them. I think the tough coaching gets a little different, but you got to learn how to relate to these guys too. Like it's certain stuff that you can say to certain guys and certain stuff that you can't, but you got to be relatable, and that comes in of learning the game over the year, because it does evolve and it does switch. And so, like for me, when I used to try to coach my son, when I used to be with Coach Mike, with Mike McCoy at the facility, do some stuff after, like I used to try to tell TJ what to do, and he'll be looking at me. And so Mike corrected me. He'll like, don't just tell him. He only 4. He only 5. Demonstrate it for him. And so right then it was like, oh yeah, you're right, bro. Like, cause you get in the mindset, it's like, he got a mind like me because my son's very mature. But it's almost like, dang, you're right. It's the little stuff. It's the little stuff that matters, and different ways to relate to him. Like now, I don't coach my son because I know from coaching him, I learned if I say something to him, he take it deeper because I am his dad and I am Trent Richardson, and he does have big shoes to fill. He do have my name. So when I say something to him, like he kind of, like for a while, he kind of got, a little off whack because I seen tears in his eyes when he hear from his pops, when he hear from me. So what I started doing, I switched it up, and I would say something to my offensive coordinator, hey, let TJ know this or let TJ know that. And they had to sit me back for a while. I'm like, hey, man, don't say nothing to TJ. Don't say nothing to him. And I had to like swallow that pill like, damn, you're right. I can't, and that's messing them up,
Right.
But kids are different, bro. Like, bro, it's just a different day and age, bro. Like, you got to know how to relate to these guys. Like, we had coaches that, that was in our same situation, that came from the hood, that came from different backgrounds, that, that didn't have, what we didn't have when we was growing up and wanted us to do better. And not saying that these coaches don't, but, situations are different, bro. They just got to learn how to relate to them.
Right. So we have a question from the audience. Do you think that Bryce Young and Will Anderson Jr. will leave for the draft this year?
Oh yeah, they gone. I think they're gone.
For me, if I was them, especially with the NIL stuff that they got now, because when I was in school, I had 2 kids. I didn't have no choice. That's that, and you see the passion that I played with and the love of the game that I had, to where, you heard guys like me, and this goes back to the question that you asked earlier. You heard guys like me and heard guys like you, like, bro, I'm 3 and out. Like that was the different mindset that we had. You don't hear guys sitting there saying that we're 3 and out no more. They enjoying the whole process of, I'm gonna get red shirted. That, no, bro, I ain't getting red shirted, bro. I need to be on this field. I got stuff to do. And so, do I think they need to leave? If I was them, I wouldn't leave, because at the end of the day, I ain't got a national championship on my own. Not to say that's on my own, but as the head guy, I ain't got a national championship. And then the lead ain't going nowhere right now, bro. Like, why would you leave? And you still got work to do, because when I'm telling you, and then them guys don't see it, but they don't get it. When you get to that next level, all of us know it's not family oriented no more. It is a business. And when you get to the business side of something that you love to do, have you been doing it from a shorty, a kid, it becomes work. And it's like, man, this is not what I thought it was going to be, bro. Like, at a point in time, your biggest dream become your nightmare. And it's like, bro, like, man, like, how does this happen? Like, I love this game. Like, how does this happen to me? Like, bro, like, I just can't. I don't know, bro. I wouldn't be able to leave if I ain't win that national championship, bro. If I ain't, only thing I didn't do in school when I was there, bro, is win a Heisman. And I almost came back just to win that for my teammates. Right. I'm saying it was hard for me to pass the keys off to Eddie until I knew that he was ready, bro. If he wasn't ready, bro, I was gonna come back another year, bro. Like, but Eddie get like, bro, I'm good. Like, go ahead and go to the league, bro, if I can get my time in, bro. That was the conversation that me and Eddie was having.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know until, like, when I got back to school, bro, when I walked in the complex to say that, hey, I'm announcing that I'm leaving, I really didn't feel it, bro, until I got up there on that stand and I seen Lacey face, bro. And Lacey like, bro, I'm good. Go ahead and go. Bro, that was my story about that.
Yeah. What about you, Blake?
About Will and Bryce?
Yeah.
Man, I think, when I look at Bryce, bro, and just he's a good quarterback, man. You know what I'm saying? He has had a great career. When I look at him right now, I think about Tua. You know what I'm saying? It's the same prediction Tua was in, and he came and played another year, and he had received that bad injury at Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying? And so I just feel like for that situation right there, I feel like Bryce need to go ahead and get his money, man.
Okay.
Get paid
but
more.
he got the money. He get the money.
He got the money. And then if you like Trent, you know this, if before, how you send in your paper saying that you may declare, and they come back and tell you your draft grade and you will be slotted here, and if you were to get hurt and you go lower than your draft spot, you still get that same money that you were supposed to be drafted at. That's what I talked about that last night. So that leads to another question that I didn't want to ask, but now that I want to ask it. Do you think that Will Anderson and Bryce Young should play in this game?
If I was them, I'd play. Why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you, bro?
And the reason why I said that they should
more film, the different situations that you get in that prove to these coaches, like, that you can do this. That's why Miami took a tour like they did. Tua didn't even get to work out for it. Like, Tua was hurt. This man had he had the same injury that Bo Jackson ended his career on.
Right.
But they seen how he handled everything in the college, and he wanted to play through it. Like, Tua, they told Tua to get out the game. That man wanted to be in the game. So if I got a guy like that on my team, if I got 1,000 Tua mindsets, bro, man, listen. Come on,
right. So my question. So go back to when I was saying that I said about Bryce, and y'all was like, Bryce is already paid. Yeah, you already paid, but you're gonna make more money in the NFL. But the ultimate goal was to get to the NFL.
Yeah.
So,
Nah, bro, but you
so
might not. What if Bryce go there and
NIL
don't
deal,
play?
what I'm asking, like, if he stays for the NIL deal and he stays to get paid more, so are you staying to, like, what, like, at that point, what's the biggest priority of your time being at Bama?
That's what I'm saying, though. You missing it. That's what I'm saying. Why it ain't a rush to go to the league no more for him because he already got the money. So now you got time to win the national
He had
championship.
millions last year. He made
Yeah.
3 million this year. You
Yeah,
got
that's what
guys that been in the NFL 3 years that don't even have $1 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the reason I gave my opinion last night about why I think these guys should play in this Sugar Bowl game against Kansas State, because it shows respect and it shows the level of leadership that you has, and that you owe. I'm not saying that you owe this university, but this university gave you an opportunity to play the game that you love for free. And the worst thing that you can do is back out on them on the last game of the season. I mean, this bowl game can be the championship game. It can be the same game. It's just a different name. You can be playing Kansas State in the championship game. Are you gonna sit out because it's not the championship game? Like, I think that they should play because it would show the level of respect, and it would show the NFL that these guys handle their responsibility. They follow their rules, they discipline, they do what they have to do, and they do what's being told, and they showing great leadership towards the upcoming guys that may be in that same situation, not to clock out on your team when you have another game left to play. So I would say that those guys should play just because it would show the levels of respect towards the school, and also it would show a big leadership for them going forward with the NFL by handling the responsibility and being a leader of the team. Because once you get in the NFL, the quarterback automatically becomes the captain. So you're gonna have to be vocal. You're gonna have to lead the team. The team gonna go off of however the quarterback is. So I think that Bryce Young and Wayne Anderson should play in the game to show the NFL what type of leaders and what type of player and what type of mindset that they have.
And then at that, bro, folks gotta realize you're not playing in this bowl game. First of all, finish what you started.
Exactly.
Second of all, you're not playing in this bowl game. Who is you getting this information from? You talking about somebody that don't have nothing to do with this team, ain't been through these 110s, ain't been through these surgeries, these blood, sweat, and tears that we done developed together. Like, man, like you said when we were talking on the other show, get them off my team then. You should have never been here for that then, bro. Like, because at the end of the day, I say he got the money now. Yeah, you got the money. So now you got a chance to win your national championship. You done everything but won your national championship at this point.
Exactly.
That's the end of the day goal is when you get to college. And yeah, I mean, it's not logical for everybody to do that, but you at a platform, you at a team, you got a coach that can get you there every year.
Right.
And now you're the man in charge. So don't think that the NFL is going anywhere. I know that's the end of that goal, but you go there, you spend 2 years there, you get hurt or something happen.
You forgot about.
Yeah.
They go on to the next. You forgot about.
Yeah, not for long. Trust me, I'd have been in that situation.
Yeah, me too. Hamstring situation. You know what I mean?
Like,
I'm coming off a damn great season, and I tore my hamstring off the bone, and I only get 1 or 2 workout because of what they think good, because they got a younger guy. They can pay them less than what they can pay me.
Blake, look at the situation with Lamar Jackson. They still ain't played my dog yet. He's still on a rookie contract. That man won MVP of the league and everything, bro. What else do you got to do?
5 years.
What else do you got to do?
They gonna pay him, man. They gonna pay him. Because look, everybody got to play their part. You feel me? So they can eat the way they need to eat. I feel like they're gonna pay him. They'd be a fool to let Lamar Jackson come to Atlanta Falcons.
Right. So my
thing is, what if Lamar go out there? That's just like Dax. They didn't pay Dax, and he had a year. What you call him when they give you that tag, that franchise tag?
He had an injury reserve. He had an injury reserve on franchise tag, and then came back and got the big deal. So he didn't even play to get the big deal, really, because he was
And I
injured.
think
He
that
had
franchise tag took that money that you're away from him, that money that he should have got on a big deal. Know what I'm saying? For that franchise tag.
right.
And
So
so
we
you get in a situation like that, we didn't even know how Dax was gonna come back off that.
right,
Or say you get in a situation like Alex Smith, where you gotta do all these different surgeries to come back. Like, bro, like we're gladiators out there, we get it. Like, but at the end of the day, bro, like we out there making those sacrifices, bro, and we gotta try to have fun while we do beating up on each other. Like,
exactly.
if something happened to one of us, bro, like that's on us. Them coaches gonna keep their job. The GM's gonna keep his job, but they're gonna go to the next one. We see what it just happened to JSU. Like, it's
Right.
gonna happen, bro.
So we have another question from the audience. It said, "Do you think these kids have the same passion for the sport overall? Why or why not?"
I don't think they got the same passion. I think it's more of a, do you see what I'm doing and do you see what I have done?
Right.
Like with us, like when we worked out, the main thing we used to always say that people don't see what's going on when the cameras are off.
Mm-hmm.
They just see what's going on when the cameras are on. And I think with these kids, they just always want the camera on them
Right.
because they care. They care so much about what other people think of themselves.
Man, and it's crazy you said that, Blake, because I used to always wonder, like when it came to commercials and when it came to, having the camera on the team, especially a team that's winning the championships, like we never really got that advertisement deals or like the camera was always on us. Know what I'm saying? Like you will always see these different teams on these different commercials and stuff, and it was just like, I see why Coach made it like that. Like I see why Coach did it like that. Now I see why, because I always wonder, like, and they got everybody mascot on this commercial except for Alabama. They got every team they showing except for Alabama on this. But I don't know if his coach kept it like that or not. But I see why now with everything that's going on in the world.
Rat poison.
Oh yeah, it's definitely rat poison. But I always felt like, man, like we deserve to be there. Like why we not on this?
So last question. And this dealing with being disciplined. And this more towards you, Blake. Most people don't know that you switched from running back to quarterback, and I want
Safety, back to quarterback, back to running back,
right. So I want
receiver.
I want you to tell the people how you handle that mentally and the things that you had to do to be disciplined, and how you took on that role and not got discouraged. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So my first position I played when I got to Bama, I was a safety. I was a safety, and I was wearing number 18, my guy. That's the ugliest number ever. Every time I say it, I think I scratch my head like this. But anyway, uh, man, I'm playing safety, and I come downhill, and that's when I started seeing how strong Trent was on the field. Trent and Mark hit me so hard, bro. I beat the office and was like, I don't want this crimson jersey no more. I want the white jersey. I want to be on offense.
Yeah.
Left there, man, after camp. Left there, went to wide receiver. I was enjoying it. Running back, quarterback, I enjoyed it all. But the main thing, bro, is my relationship. It was my relationship with my teammates.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It was a relationship with my teammates and just always itching to get that feeling. You know what I'm saying? And,
Yeah.
uh,
What kept you so disciplined? Like, what kept you so, disciplined and, focus on, like, I'm not playing right now. I'm getting switched around.
right.
What was your mentality? What kept you what kept you driven to do whatever you had to do to make the team better? Like how you became disciplined coming from a school that you came from, being that guy, to coming to Alabama and switching in different position. Now you have to handle this in a different way. You have to be mentally strong. You have to be disciplined. Now you have to not get discouraged. How did you handle the mental part and the discipline part? If you
Discipline part of not being selfish, bro. The fact that I'm not a selfish person is just that I think that's one thing that helped me get through it. And also, bro, just keeping faith, man. Like keeping faith, putting it all in God's hand and understand that He's leading me in the right direction, and just knowing that like being where my feet are. You know what I'm saying? And understanding that like, and one thing that my grandmother always told to me, that God has a certain way of you seeing things, right?
right,
But like my grandma used to tell me, if God gives you $500 and somebody steals it from you and you get angry, how can He bless you with $1,000 if He knows you're gonna hurt His kids? So
true,
that there was just big on me. So it started getting into my mind that like maybe if I stop tripping and just focus on what I can handle, I can get to where I wanted to be. And then like Coach Saban, bro, he always took us through trials, and just seeing the other athletes go through the things that they went through and just learning from their mistakes. I think that helped me make decisions that I needed to make, and also seeing guys that left and just seeing how that rubbed Coach Saban the wrong way. That just made me want to walk the right way. And then once I got to my senior year of when I was a starting quarterback, it was just like, all right, now this is just the icing on the cake. How will your story be remembered?
gotcha. So, last question for the both of you guys, and we're gonna shut it down. What are some focus points that you can give the upcoming guys from middle school to high school to college? What are some of the main focus point that you can tell them that they should be looking for, or trying to get better at, or anything that they can do to better themselves before they get to that next level and not have to learn then that they already ahead? What are some points that, maybe 1 or 2 points that you can give an 8th grader that can transfer over to a 9th grader, and that 9th grader can transfer over to college by growing and growing and growing?
Go ahead, Trent.
Man, I always tell people, bro, and this is my slogan, bro, you are your way out. And what I mean by that is, at the end of the day, mama can't do it, daddy can't do it, you're blessed to have this talent that the Boston put in your life, and you got to be able to know when to be, on time, out of sight. Got to be able to be focused, because trust me, when you're playing ball, it's so many different temptations out there, bro. You got to be mentally strong, because I tell people all the time that mentally, the game is mentally 90%. People say 80%. I say 90, and physical 10% for real. But if you don't have that mind, bro, the game will eat you up, chew you out, spit you out, burp you out, whatever it can to you, bro. And you got to be a savage, bro, when it comes to discipline and wanting and having that why. Like, always have your why.
Right.
Like, for me, my why was my kids. My why was my mama. Like, my why is I didn't want to be back in Pensacola looking at these guys chasing $10 licks. I'm talking about guys running full speed, running a dang 4.3 to a car to go hit a $10 lick, and you can be doing that on a football field or a basketball court, or
Right.
you know what I mean, or guys that's real smart counting up all this money, and you can be doing that in a financial office somewhere. It's stuff like that I always seen, and I seen my brothers mess up on, and they made sure I didn't mess up on,
Right.
and I stayed away from that life. So, man, it's all type of stuff that you can do, bro. I say work on everything when it comes to drills and stuff like that. Me, I'm the person that I wasn't big with social media, man. Stop putting stuff on social media, man. Move silently.
Right.
Move at your own pace.
Sure.
On a quiet note, man. Because when you come out and when you do make that blast on the scene, bro. When you was at Bama, bro, I didn't go out. I went out every once in a blue moon. And when I did go out, trust me, it was a show. I'm
Right.
saying people knew I was there. You
Yeah.
feel me? But
Yeah. You were just like I was. I did the same.
yeah,
But I wanna thank 60 for the $20 donation. Bo, Blake, and Trent, we have done a tremendous job in what they have said. And I also want to thank Brooke Matavo. She say great first show, definitely needed. And I want to thank Donna for her $5 for still being the Bama Standard guys. Thank you for that as well. And also Miranda Bottoman for her $10 for her super sticker. I want to appreciate you. Thank you guys for that. And Blake, can you follow back off of what Trent said?
Yeah, I'll just tell these kids, man, just believe in yourself and understand that like everything you say can either help you move forward or turn around and bite you in your butt. You know what I'm saying? You are who you hang around, and treat others how you want to be treated, because you never know when you'll need them again. And I think my last thing I would say to them is find somebody to talk to. Just find somebody to talk to that you can open up to, and that's pretty much your getaway. You know what I'm saying? That's your way that you can just be yourself and talk however you want to talk, and you're not going to be judged.
Right.
and when he mean by find somebody to talk to, don't find somebody gonna tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Find someone who's gonna tell you the truth about yourself.
Like, hey, you messing up. Like, stop. Hey, bro, I can't agree with you on that. We go, because I got people like that in this Blake, Mike, Bo, like, hey, if I'm messing up or if Bo messing up, he gonna call me Blake. Me and Blake, I went at it with Blake early today. And that's a conversation that's for us, but I had to tell him, like, look, bro, all right, look at it from this point of view, not that point of view. But it's stuff that you need to hear, bro. You don't need to hear no yes mans. So
Yeah,
you gotta have them guys.
Yeah, and I want to thank Tracy Calloway for the $10 for the donation for the show. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Miss
you a lot.
Tracy.
And I think we lost Blake, but Trent, could you tell the people what you got going on and what you got coming up next?
Oh man, we got so much going on, man. I'm the athletic director at Irondale Youth Sports, man. So we actually kicking off the basketball season.
You the hold on. You the AD and I ain't been offered no job.
It's for the youth program, everything volunteer, baby. So I know we gotta have them big pockets for you over there, man. But I know you love to come volunteer and stuff, man. But
Yeah,
man,
since I be in Birmingham anyway, in March, so I definitely come by to school and give a couple speeches in the summertime.
oh yeah, man. Look, anything will help, bro, with these kids, bro. Because Irondale didn't have youth sport for the last 5 to 6 years, bro. And we just put a football program there. And now we're doing basketball, and hopefully we're gonna move into baseball and soccer too, man, and softball too. So, man, just try to get these kids a platform, bro, and where they got somebody that's been there, done that, and you want these kids to have better than them. But man, we got our show, man, with the ropes with TR3. We on there every day from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And it's me, Reggie Ragland, Mike McCoy, Funny Man, Tonio Langham, Crazy Langham, man. Blake on there too. We just locked Blake in for 3 days. Bo be on there too, y'all. Bo come in, he give his brilliant mind, man, his brilliant sense too, bro. Like, it's just a platform for B-Sci-Fi, bro. Like, it's a platform for everybody.
It comes from Coach Saban, you know what I'm saying? We be on that cell phone, Like, people say they hear me talking in the media, they be like, did you just get off the phone with Coach Saban or something?
Yeah.
But Blake, could you tell the people what you got going on and what you have coming up next?
Yeah, right now, man, I'm a offensive coordinator at Mount Bethel Christian Academy, and it's a Christian school. And next year would be our second year that we have had our program open. We got a lot of a big group of guys that are great. They're ready to learn. They work hard every day. We have started off-season workouts, and we have a new field too. We have a new field that we have built, and we're feeling very excited about next year. So if you're ever in Georgia or the Marietta area, come to Mount Bethel and watch us compete. Now me, Christian Jones, my brother Hunter Sims, and Brendan Bellboy, we have we started a 7-on-7 team, and we're called the Low Key Ballers. We're called the Low Key Ballers because all four of us we weren't very highly recruited.
Right.
We was all, I think,
Christian Jones was
3-star.
Christian. Who?
You said Christian was highly recruited?
Christian Jones, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
well,
me and Christian Jones.
Blake, you was the number one athlete in the nation, bro. What you talking about?
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
You what? You was like number one.
Bro, you was the number one athlete in the nation, bro.
No, I wasn't, bro.
You must be
I
thinking
went
of me.
JUCO and all,
You must
fool.
be thinking of me because I was the number one athlete in the country coming
That's
out.
what I'm saying. I went JUCO, cuz.
Then like you only can get 5-star. You know they gave Trent 6 stars.
Yeah,
Oh
there
no,
you
out
go.
the gate. Out the
Yeah.
gate. I had 3.
Listen, and before we get off, bro, and I'm gonna just leave this with this, right? I'm looking at this transfer portal, bro. Guess how many players Alabama have in the transfer portal right now?
Is it 23?
21 right now, bro.
Yeah, it was 23.
How many of them played though? How many of them played?
A lot
of them started. Trayshawn Holden, a lot of these guys started. But but before we go, I wanna answer Donna Corson. You know, she donated, so I have to respect her. She said, Blake, do you have any advice for Miro and Ty Simpson?
The only advice I can give you, man, get with that OC. Get with that OC. Soak up the knowledge. Get with your wide receivers. Get the timing in. Veteran wide receivers, get with them, see how they see the game. Get with Coach Saban. Talk to him and see. He's the best defensive coach in the nation, right? So why not get with him and pick his mind and see how he reads the defense. Get you a quarterback coach, man. Don't be up in Tuscaloosa. Don't go on spring break. Don't go on vacation. Get to work, baby. Get to work because the time is now.
Yeah,
the opportunity is here now.
Now that you say that, Micah Fitzpatrick, he spent his high school spring break training with us in college. Just to put that out there, but
that's big. That says why he is where he is.
Exactly. But I want to thank you guys for coming on to the show and thank our audience for watching the Developmental Focus Point. We will be back next week at 7:30, and thank you again and roll tide.
Roll tide.
Roll tide.